Can you write a code without a bug? Interesting? Yes, it is interesting. For sure you can write a code without a bug. I won't say 100%, but you can avoid writing bugs in your code. There are multiple strategies that you can implement. Let's talk about all those in this video. I will show you how you can achieve that goal near to not writing bugs in your code. Okay, so let's start. First strategy that you need to include in your code base, that is unit test. Whatever logic that you are writing, or you are introducing a new method, you are modifying existing method, even if you are writing a single line, you should focus over unit test. You should write unit test case for all the possible use cases. Make sure you are writing negative test cases also. What happens sometimes, people just write unit test because they have to write unit test. Don't focus on that. Focus on the quality. So if you focus on the quality, you will think all of the possible use cases that your application may break. You should think of all the parameters that your method is going to accept or your method is going to reject. So on the basis of those, make sure you are writing all the positive plus negative test cases. That is one strategy that will avoid writing bugs in your code. And when you are done with the unit test, just build on your project. On your local machine. It could be any editor, whatever editor you are comfortable with. So the reports could be something like this. If some are pass, some are fail, it will show you the reports like this. If everything is good, that is something that you have to be happy. So what is the second strategy? This is the second strategy, integration test. You have to make sure when you are done with the unit test, you are also writing the integration test. So unit test is something that tests particular piece of code. Integration test is something that tests end-to-end testing, right? So what is that end-to-end testing? Is all the way, all the frame UI to API, API to database. That is something called end-to-end test. So if you click on button, that button knows, hey, I need to make that call to API. All of those logic needs to be performed, receive data from database and send back to UI, right? So everything is getting tested. So that is how you make sure my application, not just that one logic, my whole functionality is not breaking. Even performing end-to-end test, if your reports looks like something like this, your unit tests are clean, but your integration test is not clean or maybe partially clean, you should not be happy. There is something that you need to fix at your end. Maybe the unit test that you have written, the particular piece of method that is happy, but all over integration that end-to-end from your call from UI to API, there is something because of that particular method change, others method got broken. So you have to go back, you have to fix it, and you have to run again those tests. And when the reports looks like this, that means whatever changes that you have made, it is not breaking any functionality, not even new functionality, not even existing functionality. So that is how you can make sure your unit test, integration tests are working, right? And this is one way. So suppose there is one person who joined your project, who joined your team. He is very new to your projects. So what happens sometimes, he's not aware of all the functionality. He work on one particular task, and he make that change. So if a value unit and integration tests are written, he do not need to depend on any other developers for the that to make sure that the code that he has written will work or not. So he just have to make the changes. He have to make sure he is modifying his existing unit tests and writing any new unit test or integration test which is required, and then run all the possible unit and integration tests that this project has. If everything is green, he is now good, he is happy because he knows that everything is stable. Because of his change, nothing is gonna break. Perfect. And there is another problem. So whatever changes you have done so far, that is only for your machine, your local machine. And those changes may not work on environments when it goes to environment, right? So here the birth of CI/CD pipelines. Something, there are multiple strategies that you can implement for CI/CD. The best way to avoid writing bugs after your local environment on a production environment, maybe you can use blue-green deployment. So this is the one strategy where you make sure, build pipeline is making sure your unit tests are working on the environment. The release pipeline is making sure your integration tests are working on the environment. And when the reports looks like something, that means something is not gonna work over environments, though it is working on your local machine. So you have to investigate all those things and you have to fix that. So, and the report would be like this, and then you should be happy. So see, I told you we can write a bug-free code. Only 3 things you have to follow: unit test, integration test, and blue-green deployment. Make sure you are also following the third strategy, blue-green deployment. Otherwise, it is possible that environment not gonna happy with your code. Maybe it will work in local, but not on environment. And that is the major issue that every developer faces. I hope you learned something and you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.